Welcome back to Making Sense Conversations. If you haven't been following us, we started last week talking about abundance, and last week we're talking about what is abundance. This week I want to talk about the abundance mindset, and to put it in another way, it can also be referred to as what environment fosters abundance. Now, when a lot of people think about abundance, they think about sipping on champagne with no problems and heaps of possessions. However, if you listened to me last week, my version of abundance, or the seed of abundance, was planted in very difficult circumstances. And it is those difficult circumstances that sometimes foster the environment or create the muscle to be able to actually see abundance. Whilst we'd like to sip on champagne, let's not ignore what those experiences give us, because it gives us a constant reminder that if you could go through that, you can move on and get through the next challenge. And it also reminds us about ourselves, who showed up. There are times when I look back in life and I look at people and what they've gone through, and I'm like, I didn't realize that person was that strong. Haven't you said that about many people? Now I want you to say that about yourself. Look back at what you've gone through and realize you are that strong. You are that creative. Yeah, you're that assertive, you're that focused, whatever it is. So that's what difficult circumstances does for us, and it is where abundance is birthed. But notwithstanding, sometimes life is good. Maybe you're in a situation where you are sipping on champagne, yeah? You are enjoying, because I think mountains and valleys, they operate together. Sometimes it's a mountain, sometimes it's a valley. And if you are, enjoy the moment. Because many times when we're going through something good, when you're actually lying down in green pastures, we are so busy looking at, oh, I'm so scared it will end, or one day the money will get finished, or what if I do this and I end it and I sabotage it? So we let fear in, because what we default to is trying to control the situation. And then of course, we talked about looking at somebody else's car. You then look at a situation, somebody else. Let's say you have a nice car. You look at somebody else's bigger car and suddenly yours is not enough. So you start introducing the element of scarcity. So whether things are good or whether things are hard, yeah, and let's face it, life being hard every so often is life, yeah? We've got to teach ourselves, how do we see abundance in every situation? So I want to share with you some things that I believe is where true abundance lies. It's the way we think, it's what we create around for ourselves. So, number one, knowing you have something unique and distinct to offer. When I teach in Centonomy, I always tell people that there's nobody on earth who has the same thumbprint as you. Even if you have an identical twin, they do not have the same thumbprint as you. Why is that? It's because you have something different to bring to this world. And knowing what that is our role. Nobody can actually define it for you, and sometimes we have to learn the art of just sitting quiet and listening to ourselves. Even when I hire people, I tend to be attracted to the people who are not telling me they have a bachelor of XYZ, because there's so many people who have the same degree. So that is not what differentiates you. But I tend to hire people who tell me, by the way, I'm very good with people, or I am a good listener, or I am good at problem solving. Yeah, those are the people who know what is unique to them, and because they can identify with it, I know they'll bring that. It is that uniqueness I am looking for. I'm not looking for someone just to come and fill a seat in the office. Yeah, so knowing what is unique about you is important. So sit back and say, remove the titles, remove the job description, remove your age, remove your roles. I'm a father, husband, wife, remove all that. What is left? What is left? That is abundance. Secondly, it's about how you go through life and not the curveball life has thrown at you. So how do you go through what you are doing? You can choose to be a victim, but everybody has gone through something painful. Yes, you can vent, you can take time to grieve, yeah, but everybody in life has gone through something painful. So you don't get to be special because you are going through something hard. How are you going to go through it, and what are you going to use it for? So go through it in a way that no matter what you're feeling, no matter the pain you're feeling, you're determined to come out on the other side as stronger, as wiser, as more generous. So look at it, look at your situation and learn the lesson. Number 3, it is not what you have, but how you use what you have. I think God asked Moses, what is in your hand? At every point, everybody has something that they can use. But we are so busy seeing what we don't match up to that we don't see what we have. I sit here because when I started writing this book, it was just an idea. I started writing articles, I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and then they ended up being the book. So I could not have told you 12 years ago that I would have a book, but what was in my hand? An idea to put down on paper. Then what came into, once I did that, I was linked up with a newspaper and I started writing articles. So what is in your hand today? If it's time, use it. If it's money, use it. If it's a skill, use it. If it's an idea, use it. If it's a network, use it. If it's the ability to hear different things when you watch movies, use that. So what is in your hand? Number 4, what do you see versus what is put in front of you? There's so much negativity being put in front of us. And even if I just take the business vibe during the pandemic and what a lot of media put out there, they were talking about how people are losing jobs. They were talking about how businesses are failing. They were talking about all these things. But I love conversations, as you know, and I went and I talked to a lot of businesses, and I also saw the creative things people were doing to keep people in jobs. So that information has not been put in front of us. But if you want to live a life of abundance, you're going to have to learn to look for the information that corresponds to what you want. Don't just go with the current of what everybody else is listening to. So there are a lot of businesses that were started during the pandemic. I think that's an amazing story. There are a lot of industries that grew. The delivery industry, for example, grew during the pandemic. There are a lot of people who launched new careers, found new opportunities, found new jobs during the pandemic. There are a lot of people who found unique ways of traveling during the pandemic because things were so much cheaper during the pandemic. So we've got to learn, it's not what's put in front of you. What have you decided to see? Open your eyes and look for that information. Number 5, develop a resistance to fear. Fear will always be there, and we get confused about what the relationship with fear is. Just because you feel afraid doesn't mean don't go forward. It's about developing a resistance. Remember, I have not said eradicating fear, because I cannot stand here and say that because I am not a person who has eradicated fear. I'm scared many times. But over time, when you keep driving the car and not letting fear drive the car, so the fear can be there talking, but if you keep driving the car, fear just gets softer and softer. Eventually you can mute it. Of course, when the next new thing comes, fear comes back. But you have developed the ability to push through the fear. And that is what the resistance is all about. So what is that next action that signifies you have pushed through the fear? And lastly, not waiting for permission to fully be you, to live the way you would like to live, because we're always waiting for this permission, and this permission shows up in other people's opinions. If I do this, what will people think? If I start this business, what will people think? If I go and travel there, what will people think? If I dress like this, what will people think? So all that is clouding abundance coming into our life. So give yourself permission first before your mind says, because a lot of times we're like, I want to do this, and then you're like, but what will so and so think? You've killed the thought. So let's see the thought through and say, if I actually did it. And many times you'll find it's not other people's opinions, it's your perception of what other people's opinions would be. Let me tell you something, people have their own stuff going on. Nobody has that much time to be thinking about you. So you owe it to yourself to think about yourself. So the exercise for today, go back to really tough times in your life and just note down, what did it actually teach you? See yourself as that strong person that you're always calling other people, or that bold person that you're always calling other people, or that courageous person you're always calling other people, or that smart person you're always calling other people. What did it teach you? Then go to the really good times as well in your life and say, what did you feel? What did it teach you? We have to also learn that every day, especially when there's good in our life, to not poison it with fear of trying to control how it will be tomorrow, but rather let's fertilize it with gratitude so that we can keep seeing more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it. So just do that exercise and let me know what comes out of it. So let's continue making sense of this. Next week we talk about money. So read the book, share, subscribe, and comment, and let me know how your exercises are going. See you next week.